Chapter 147. Does it not suit your liking? Yudhir hesitated, barely managing to raise his head again. He couldn't let Kishir notice his unease. It's too generous. It's not too much. After everything you have done, you are more than deserving of such an honor at the end of the festival. Or would you like to swap it with mine? Weren't you the one who said yours was more expensive? That's absolutely out of the question. Kishir had started to raise his hand to remove his glove, but Yudhir quickly stopped him. I understand. Since the commander has given it to me, I will gratefully accept. Yudhir removed his black glove and put on the white one in front of him. He rolled up the sleeves of his ceremonial dress to his elbows and finished putting on the gloves. A complex wave of emotions briefly surged in his chest, but soon settled. You seem to be fully prepared. At that moment, Nathan Zuckerman entered the commander's office, speaking as he did. Contrary to his usual attire, he wore an armor embossed with the emblem of the Paleta Knights. The southern man who approached without even a blink at Kishir's splendor paused and blinked when he saw Yudhir standing beside him. The ceremonial attire suits you well, Mr. Ale. Thank you for your compliment, Mr. Zuckerman. Please take it cheerfully. Nathan doesn't give such compliments to just anyone. In response to Kishir's confident smile, Yudhir said nothing. Nathan Zuckerman also paid no attention to his lord's jest, moving swiftly onto the business. I have come to report that all 30 Paleta Knights summoned by the Duke have arrived and are currently in position. From the moment you leave to the moment you return, they will be guarding this entire building and various points within the Imperial Knights ground. Good. What about Thias Yulman? Kishir nodded and asked about the mage Thias Yulman. Receiving a report from Yudhir and a bundle of papers sent by Thias, he had granted permission for the stubborn old mage to stay here as he wished. This was shocking news for his apprentice Alec Belgen, who was dragged into the party without his master, but no one was there to confront him. He was confirmed to be alone in the basement when I last checked. He said he didn't want anyone else entering the basement, so we have stationed a single knight near the entrance. I heard his apprentice was wandering around yesterday. What was the reason for that? He said we would know when the time came. I suspect he was setting traps or defensive circles to protect this building. It's probably both. Yudhir finally found his chance to speak up. In fact, what he had intended to say to Kishir was about that very matter, but he had not had the chance to say it yet. I met Alec yesterday, and he told me that Thias Yulman had ordered him to do various things to protect the basement and the building. He must have really hated the idea of going to the party. It's fortunate you have got extra protection thanks to him. After a short nod and expressing his evaluation, Kishir looked back at Yudhir and Nathan. I'm likely to stay at the Imperial Palace today. Last night, His Majesty sent me a letter suggesting a spontaneous family meal. I believe he couldn't refuse Her Majesty's request. In that case, what should we do with the cavalry? You and a few others will stay by my side, while the rest shall return once the party is over. Until then, Nathan, you are to guard this place. I will fulfill the responsibility you have entrusted to me. Observing Nathan, who held the hilt of his sword lightly and bowed his head, a sharp, well-honed smile appeared in Kishir's eyes. Let's make today the best day for us all, and for the cavalry. Now, shall we get going? Yudhir began to walk, leading the way with his cloak billowing. Nathan and Yudhir followed, their shoulders aligned. Every time they descended the stairs, the assembled cavalry members and the knights of Peleta, their eyes wide with admiration, offered enthusiastic greetings. Greetings, Commander. We are glad to see you in good health after so long, my lord. I'm happy to see you too, Ticker. I look forward to your work today. Of course, my lord. Kishir continued his descent, raising his hand in return to those greeting him or occasionally tossing a light-hearted remark. As they reached the ground floor, they saw a line of carriages in front of the cavalry barracks. The members gazed in awe at the spectacle of countless carriages gathered together. It's incredible. All these carriages are for us. Commander, you're here. The deputy commanders, who had been loading the members and checking their numbers, noticed Kishir's arrival and hurried over. Looking at Stiver, who pushed back his hair, softening his usual stern demeanor, Ever, who twisted her long hair, and Kana, who pinned her short hair behind her ears, Yudir understood Kishir's comment about making formal wear beautiful without jewels. They too could not hide their surprise at seeing Kishir's formal attire, but their eyes widened even more upon seeing Yudir beside him. Wow, Commander, you look truly radiant in formal wear. Aha, Stiver, your compliment is quite something. Thank you. Yudir, your outfit is a different color from ours. It suits you. Kana offered a small voice of greeting from behind Stiver. You too. Although it was a curt reply, Kana didn't seem to mind. She winked playfully and gave a quick thumbs up. Yudir offered a faint smile in response. So, how many have boarded so far? Stiver stepped forward to answer Kishir's question, looking around before speaking. Currently, well, about half have boarded. The carriage for you, Commander, is at the very front. Please feel free to board first. You have worked hard. This is nothing compared to collaborating on event security. It's not tough at all. Ever saluted with a confident smile. Yudir followed Kishir to the front of the carriage line. Standing before the beautiful carriage marked with the imperial crest and decorated with the emblem of the Duke of Peleta was the coachman along with Alec Pelgan. Good day, Your Grace. I am grateful for the privilege of accompanying you to the palace. It was an impeccable greeting, yet Yudir saw an unmistakable gloom and deep fatigue veiled over the face of the young mage. Alone without Thais Yulman, the thought of accompanying Kishir, a notoriously challenging figure, seemed quite despairing. No worries, it's only natural for me as a commander to accompany our cavalry's honored guest. I would appreciate hearing a lot about your research during the journey. Yes. The coachman, standing beside the sighing Alec Pelgan, bowed politely and opened the door. Before Kishir boarded the carriage, Nathan Zuckerman saluted and approached, lowering his voice. Your schedule has suddenly changed. Please take extra care of yourself. There is no need to be overly cautious about a family meal and a night. I recall you mentioning not much time was left for the cycle. Right. Kishir replied briefly, patting the loyal adjutant's shoulder with a smile. Even if something goes wrong, the one who gets hurt now won't be me, so put aside your excessive worries, Nathan. Nathan Zuckerman treated with a small sigh. After everyone boarded, the carriage door was closed. Alec Pelgan bowed his head, looking like he would rather be in a lavatory. His desire for Kishir not to speak to him was almost visible. But that sort of luck did not happen. We will depart shortly. Soon after all the members had boarded the carriages, the coachman opened a small window and announced they were about to depart. The carriages started moving one by one. The sound of hoofs and the vibration underneath could be felt. Well, We still have quite a bit of time before we arrive. Let's share some stories. Sitting next to you there, Kishir turned to Alec with a smile. I have been so busy that I couldn't personally visit the basement, and I'm very curious. I would like to hear a lot about the Pearl Tower I have only heard stories of. Ah, yes. Why are you sweating so much? If you need a handkerchief, let me know. No, I have one, thank you. Alec, who had been moving around within the cavalry, acting as the eyes and ears of his master, now saw a different side of Kishir Lahore. He was not the good-for-nothing duke he was often called. Like Tyus Ullman had said, he was like a cunning beast, laying low, waiting for the right opportunity, hiding his claws. Being able to observe such a terrifying entity up close was considered a fascinating and wonderful opportunity by his master, but the faint-hearted Alec did not wish to be too close to such a fearful entity. Look at him now. He claimed he wanted to discuss research in the Pearl Tower, but was that all? Knowing that, you send me here alone, master. This is too much. But what could he do? Now that things have come to this, all that was left was to comply as meekly as possible. Alec, hoping that Udir Ale, sitting next to Duke Paleta, would serve as his backup, began to hesitantly engage in conversation with Kishir.